Yay, I think we're on here. As you can see, we're in a different place right now. I'm going to talk for a couple minutes while people sign on. But this is my Pilates teacher, Vicky. And yes, I'm about to do Pilates right after this, but I still wanted to get up and do our 8 a.m. meditation with all of you. So Vicky has agreed. We're sitting on our reformers in the Pilates studio. And we're going to do our meditation here together. So, I've been thinking about what I wanted to talk about this morning, and I thought it actually is really fitting, since I'm in the Pilates studio, to talk about body image. And last night on my 8 p.m. meditation, I did talk a little bit about this, about Jess's meditation from the weekend, and when she was talking about the stories that we tell ourselves and how we develop these beliefs about ourselves. And I told the story about one of my grandmothers telling me that I was fat and a slob and nobody would ever love me, and how that story became so ingrained in my life. And Vicky here knows a lot about that story too, because these things kind of come up, especially when you're talking about your body. And we've even talked in here too just about how everybody, it seems like regardless of what the stories are, you can agree or disagree with me, but regardless of whether they're tall, short, skinny, fat, whatever they look like, everybody seems to have their own version of this kind of intense, I don't know if hatred is the right word, but nobody seems to be totally okay with just the way that they are and the way that they look. And it seems to always be this place where people feel like they need to be improving, or there's always something better, or they're not just good enough. And I think it comes we also live in a society where there's this push towards everybody kind of being the same, that if you look this way, that is the ideal, and that's kind of that is the way, and if you don't live up to that, you're somehow imperfect, or, it goes back to the not good enough, or we don't feel good enough. There's a story that a lot of people tell in kind of meditation sits and things like this, which is it's an analogy really, where, when you're in the garden, the rose tree, the roses aren't more beautiful and therefore better, and the oak tree wise and therefore better, or that bush is short and somehow, in fact, we actually look out into nature and we love how everything's different. We regard that as something special, how things are different and they each have their own purpose in this world. And we don't do that with ourselves, with each other, and especially with ourselves. We kind of end up in comparing ourselves to one another, and this develops a sort of kind of like this like craziness almost, because we can never, always someone will be smarter or richer or more beautiful. So we create this kind of anxiety in our head over not being good enough. And like Jess said in the post yesterday, the emotions distort reality. Meditation becomes an antidote to this, because if we can start to see when those stories come up, oh, I'm comparing right now, oh, that story is coming up, and because of that, I'm not able to act like my authentic self. If we can start to take a moment and see those, then we can start filling that space with love, like, no, I am okay, or wow, I'm really sorry that happened to you. We can just create a little bit of space, and we can fill that with things that actually are going to be more helpful in our lives. And we start to fill that with love, which I feel like is what ends up happening when you spend your life feeling like the things that actually make me different and amazing are the things that I hate the most about myself, or the things I don't want to share, or the things that make me different, and so I'm somehow scared to share those. So we can take this moment using the breath, and we can actually start to be of benefit to ourselves by giving ourselves love and compassion and understanding. And we can start to let these stories dissipate, because we actually let them come to the surface. If you're not letting them come to the surface, then it kind of just stays there, muddling around in your brain, making you believe things about yourself, believe things about other people, and it just affects the way that you act with everybody. So today we're going to try something different, which is we're actually going to do just 2 full minutes of silence, which we haven't done yet, and just see what comes up for you. And there is no way to do it wrong. Even if you cannot focus on your breath that whole time, your mind starts to go crazy, that's just where you're at right now. There's a great book by Pema Chodron Pema Chodron that's called Start Where You Are. You're just starting with where you are with no judgment. We're not expecting you to be this like 30-year meditator when you never meditated before. She has another great book called There Is Nothing Wrong With You. Whatever happens on this journey, where this is just a journey of acceptance. Like, okay, this is where I'm at right now, and this is what I'm starting with, and that's okay. We're gonna move forward from here. This is like, we're not here to like judge ourselves and tell ourselves, once again, I'm not perfect. We're just here to accept where we are right now and work with what we've got in this moment, in this present moment. So the directions are basically, we're gonna close our eyes. You're gonna focus on your breath. You don't need to do anything special. You don't have to breathe slower. You don't have to breathe. You just breathe however you naturally breathe. And then when stuff starts to come up, as soon as you notice your thoughts starting to go off, you just bring yourself back to the breath. And I'll see you in 2 minutes. So get comfortable wherever you are. Close your eyes. And just start to focus in on your breath, breathing in and out through your nose. Or you may choose the rising and falling of your chest over your belly. And we're going to start. When you feel ready, take a deep breath in through your nose and just let it out through your mouth. And you can open your eyes. That was 2 minutes of silence right there. And I would love to hear what came up for you, how it felt for you. Feel free to message us on Worthy Beyond Purpose or Diva Danielle, which is my personal page. And yeah, just hear how all of this has been for you. And if you start to notice yourself throughout the day, getting into that mode of I'm not good enough, or comparing yourself to someone else, or they have something that I want that I don't have, things like that, just start to notice if those thoughts come up for you and how many times a day those thoughts come up for you, and start to see what happens if you just start to add taking a deep breath in that moment. If it starts to calm you down, if it starts to become soothing for you, just how you feel. A lot of this is just noticing where all of this takes you and how it starts to make you feel. Tonight, I will be leading a meditation around 7:30 p.m. on Diva Danielle. I would love to see you there, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.